Hi there, it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life, and a very, very happy new year to you. Although I have to say it's one of the most bizarre New Years I've ever had in my 50 odd years. But we will plow on and try and still make this a better year than it was last year. So today I want to talk about counting calories and whether counting calories is the best way to lose weight. I think you're going to know the answer to this because I've talked about this before. It's January, it's the time of year when we all want to lose a bit of weight, and the marketing people know what they're doing when they're obviously advertising slimming programs, weight loss programs. And I'm still shocked to find that many of these programs are still based on calories and counting calories. Now, I've had a very long history with calories. When I was 7 years old, it all started for me when I was sent to Weight Watchers for kids. Because I was a chubby kid, I weighed 7 stone back then, at age 7, which was, unusual back then actually to be overweight. So my parents thought, oh, we've got to do something about this. So I went along to Weight Watchers, and it was all about calories, obviously, and points and calories. And that was the start of my lifelong obsession. And when I started, it wasn't until I actually started studying nutrition that I found out that there were massive, massive flaws in the way we see calories and the way we use them for food counting and weight loss. And actually, that they actually not a very helpful way of losing weight, because actually the more I understood about how the body works, the more it seemed such a ridiculous model, to be honest. However, the calorie myth remains one of the most obsessive and long-lasting beliefs around weight loss that there is. It's still today the mantra that a calorie is a calorie is still getting churned out on a daily basis. Yes, calories, it is an actual measurement of energy. 1 calorie is 4,000 odd joules of energy, whatever that means to everybody. But when a calorie enters the body, there's a whole lot of things that happen that makes that fairly meaningless actually. So one of the examples we get is is a 200 calorie Krispy Kreme donut better for weight loss than a 400 calorie avocado? If you're counting calories, the answer is yes. But we know that doesn't make any sense at all. So there are reasons why that doesn't make any sense. So while we can estimate the calorie content of a meal, working out what those calories actually do once they're inside the body is much more complicated. So what's going on? Firstly, calories are most definitely not equal. Foods are complex mixtures of chemicals and nutrients. A simple banana has a mix of vitamins, minerals, sugars, enzymes, and micronutrients. Fructose and glucose are both sugars. They have the same number of calories, but they have completely different effects on your hormones, your metabolism, and your appetite. Secondly, your biochemistry. Your body is not a calorie bank account. What you eat and then expend is not that simple. Your body's a complex machine. It uses many different processes to regulate your metabolism, your fat storage, your energy expenditure. Food goes through different metabolic pathways that impact how, when, and what you eat, despite the calories a food contains. There's a lot going on in the body. Your digestion is the next thing. Eating uses up a lot of energy, but the type of food you eat uses up different amounts. So as I said, protein takes more energy to digest than carbohydrates. Fiber slows everything down, reduces calorie absorption, for instance, and your gut microbes have a huge role to play in breaking down foods and determining how many calories we end up taking from food. Talking about absorption, that's another big issue. The calories in a food are not always absorbed. So, when you eat sweet corn, it may come out complete the other end, right? So those calories won't count. So it doesn't matter how many calories are in that thing if it doesn't get digested and absorbed. If you lack certain enzymes, you won't digest the food properly, therefore you won't take in those calories. Cooking and processing makes a massive difference. Your body's going to work harder to digest food that hasn't been cooked or processed, so raw foods. So that means calories from cooked and processed foods are much more easily accessible and absorbed. So actually we are eating, as a population, we're eating fewer calories than we used to on average, but our calories are coming from more processed foods, which makes them more fattening. So that kind of makes sense. One study compared eating 2 cheese sandwiches, exactly the same calories. One was made with whole grains and cheddar, and the other was made from refined grains and processed cheese. Those who ate the whole grain unprocessed sandwich burned twice as many calories digesting that. So it makes a huge difference whether it's ultra processed or more fresh. Satiety. So if you eat your calories from foods that don't fill you up, you're going to eat more. So there's no doubt that despite fat being more calorific, eating more fat and protein makes you feel fuller than eating carbohydrates. That's because they take longer to digest and have less of an impact on your blood sugar. So you also adding in like things like hunger hormones, the ghrelin, which is also affected by your sleep, by the way. So the less good your sleep is, the more hunger hormones you're going to have. So obviously you're going to eat more calories that way. And the satiety hormone leptin, also affected by how much fat you're carrying. And counting calories starts getting really complicated. Stress has another big impact. The body has a survival mechanism, your fight or flight response, and that is designed to adjust your metabolism and store fat for when you need it. Super useful in times of famine, but when you reduce your calories, the body adjusts to kind of like it switches on your low power mode to conserve your energy. So you may well lose weight initially, but when you start increasing the calories again, you usually find your body has adapted, slowed down your metabolism, and the weight just piles on, right? So that's a massive impact. Timing, so when you eat also has an impact. And then of course hormones, if you're a woman, you're going to know how hormones affect your appetite and your ability to lose weight. Cortisol will not only kick in to adjust your metabolism, but it also wants to store fat around your middle, that belly fat for emergencies, which is really hard to shift however many calories you're ingesting. Thyroid, big impact. It doesn't matter how low calorie your diet is. If thyroid hormones are reducing your metabolism, you're not going to shift any weight either. So, add in sex hormone fluctuations through perimenopause, and counting calories gets very, very complex. So bottom line is, it's not that useful because we're all so different. So what do? How to lose weight sustainably and sensibly. Firstly, choose quality over quantity. So instead of the number of calories food has, focus on the quality of that food. So, don't consume easy calories from processed foods. Choose whole, unprocessed foods that are nutrient dense. Your hormones need nutrients, and your hormones are the ones that are going to help you burn fat and raise your metabolism. Number 2 is get your macros right. So increase your protein, healthy fats, and reduce those refined carbs. That will help you get more nutrients, stay fuller so you eat less, and ensure that insulin is not ruling the roost and storing a lot of fat. Number 3, you can try intermittent fasting. So not in the sort of standard way if you're over 40 and you're going through menopause, but I would always recommend you do it as time restricted eating instead. So that overnight fasting. Try and limit your snacking. Just talked about this recently, because snacking just encourages that insulin production and fat storing. Again, that's not going to help. Rebalance your hormones. Oh gosh, it's an easy thing to say, but go through my 4-step code. Also get yourself tested if you haven't done that before and you need to dig a bit deeper, and contact me if you want more information on that. Looking after your gut is really important. So, slowing down to eat, chewing properly, increasing the diversity of what you're eating, because your gut microbes love all those diverse foods. Pre and probiotics really important, and making sure you're fully hydrated so that everything's moving through. Managing your stress, really important. I talk about this on every video, but balancing that cortisol by prioritizing your self-care. Now, even more important than it ever was, to prioritize that. And that's going to encourage your body to relax, get out of survival mode, and let go of that stored fat, particularly around the belly area. Prioritizing your sleep. Lack of sleep, we know, leads to increased ghrelin, your hunger hormone, and more cravings, as well as being detrimental to health overall anyway. So prioritize your sleep. Move smarter, so exercise to balance your hormones, but not too much. Do what works for you and makes you feel good, and particularly focus on moving more and sitting less, so that you're just increasing your daily activity, your steps or whatever it is, but you're sitting less, but you're not pushing yourself too hard either. And finally, just listen to your body, because there is no one size fits all with this. Work out what's best for you, what makes you feel good, and you'll be on your way. So I don't know about you, but I, for one, am so glad I don't have to ever worry about counting calories again. I finally found that a better way of doing it, and that's much more self-care and nourishing, and that's what we really, really need to focus on as we get older. So let me know if you need any help with any of your health or hormones this year. We're always here, and we're virtual and have always been online, so we can definitely help if you need it. Take care. See you soon.